Hello friends and bees and friends who are also bees, and welcome to this week's Higurashi When They Cry stream. Or rather, welcome to this week's Indie Thursday stream, which is Higurashi When They Cry, Meakashi. This week we are going to be picking up straight where we left off last week. When we left off last week, we had we'd kidnapped Mion / Shion. We kidnapped our twin sister, whichever one we're not, the non-POV character. And then we'd also killed Rika and then Satoko, and gone to go look for them. And we woke up the next day. Basically, it's time for more bad stories. I am going to warn you guys of two things right now. First of all, I got a jab earlier, so I'm in a fair chunk of pain from that. My arm is still kind of stiff, which is to be expected, but it's also still stiff. The other thing is, work yesterday and today has destroyed me emotionally and physically, and so I am really tired. So this stream may be a little low energy just because of how tired I am, but let's keep going nonetheless and seeing what we can do. We are going to pick straight up the next. We've got, I think, 2 more chapters plus the end bit to go, so I don't know if this is like going to take the whole time, but if it doesn't, that's alright, because what will happen is I will close this game, turn my computer off and go pass the fuck out, which is what I want to do. I'm not allowed to sleep all day tomorrow. I have to do stuff even though I'm not working. I have to be an adult. But anyway, let's go. I'm pretty certain we read the new tips, but did we read this one? Let's actually eliminate all the heads. Okay. We have read that, that's why I skipped past it. I thought so, but I wanted to check, because you never know. Hey everyone, are you all still alive? Kimiyoshi was hanging from the collar, with his head turned up to the ceiling. He didn't even move when I walked in. Maybe he's already dead. Satoko was lying on a cross-shaped restraining table. She glared at me with red and swollen eyes, which must have been that way from crying. I'd wanted to put her on that special training table to pound nails into her hands, but Satoko was too small for that. I walked up to Kimiyoshi and poked my body with his body with my toe. There was no response. Uncle Kimiyoshi, are you dead? Murderer! Murderer! Maybe Satoko had witnessed Kimiyoshi's last moments. I took a thick knife from the wall and stabbed Kimiyoshi with it. There was no response. Uncle Kimiyoshi? If you're alive, you better tell me, okay? You can't fool me. I walked over to the pulley that was suspending Kimiyoshi. This is your last chance. Are you alive? Let me know if you are. I paused just for a moment, then turned the pulley. It's pretty clear what happened there. Kimiyoshi's body swayed strangely in the air. It looked much more like a corpse than that. Like that, rather. So it looked much more like a corpse like that. Shion, why are you doing this? Ah, I get it. The door to the huge cave was still open. I bet Satoko talked to the one in the cell while I was gone. That's how she knows my name. Although that's actually not my name at all. No, I'm not Shion. I'm the real Mion. The one you all thought was Mion is Shion. It's kind of confusing, huh? If you don't get it, that's okay. How dare you? How dare you kill Rika? I'd allowed Satoko to watch me take care of Rika's body. Of course, I let her see Rika's neck too. Rika Furude deserved it. She came over to kill me. I just fought back, that's all. That's not possible. Rika would never do a thing like that. If you don't believe me, that's fine. It's none of your business anyway. What are you gonna do with me? I'm going to kill you. Satoko's eyes went wide. She was expecting my answer, I'm sure, but she still looked shocked. I bet she didn't expect me to state it so openly. I heard the noise of something hitting iron bars echoing in the huge cave. Shion's voice echoed there as well. Sis, no! Don't kill Satoko! I answered her clearly. Did you finally realise what you've done? Did you finally realise you didn't do anything to save Satoshi, although you had the power to? That was why he was killed. You ignored millions of chances to rescue Satoshi. Yes, that is your sin. Before even finishing my sentence, I stabbed Stoko's right arm. Her blood started to flow out. This was nothing compared to what happened to Rika Frudude. I twisted the knife into Stoko's arm. She bit down hard, crying. Stop! Don't kill Stoko! Let her go! I don't care what you do to me, but please, let Stoko go. Why can't you say that for Satoshi? It's too late now. I was the one screaming like you back then. But no matter how loudly I screamed, it never reached them, spared him, or saved him. I want you to go through the same thing I did. Insert pain noises here. I stabbed Stoko's arm repeatedly. But the knife kept hitting her bone. It didn't feel like I was cutting any of her flesh. Stop, Mion. Stop. Sis, stop, stop, stop. Okay, Shion. How about this? I'll tell you how you can save Stoko. Apologize to me 1,000 times. I'll let her go when you're done. How about that? I don't tell lies. If you really apologize 1,000 times, I'll keep my promise. Well, how about that? I'm sorry, 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 I'm sorry. There was one of the things that really freaks me out. Whenever a character starts repeating text like that, ever since Onikakushi, it's made me nervous. Shion started to apologize like a broken record. She's so stupid and honest. She's not even thinking of cheating. I bet Shion really will count to 1,000. I stabbed Stoko in the wrist. There, I felt something hard. I guess I had crushed her bone and screamed it. Must have been extremely painful for her. Stoko screamed. Ah! Insert yell here. Shion's voice got louder as if trying to overpower that scream. All you ever do is cry to get what you want. You think your Nini is going to appear out of nowhere, knock me aside and rescue you, huh? Yeah, right. The knife was still in Stoko's wrist. I slid it towards her elbow. Stoko, can you hear me? Hey, listen to me. I slapped her face several times and made her look at me. Do you know what you've done? Do you know how your very existence is what cornered Satoshi? Nini. That's right. That's all you did to him. Every time you cried, Satoshi protected you. But have you ever considered what kind of a burden you were to him? He wasn't some superhero. He was just like you. He was just a normal human being. Have you ever thought of what he had to go through because of you? No, you didn't. You never even tried. You just let Satoshi take care of you. You just leeched off of him. And as he got injured for your sake, you lived by sucking his blood. You are cursed. How can you still call for him, huh? You are now going to pay for your sin. With my help. Cry as much as you want. Scream as much as you want. And realize Satoshi will never come for you. You cornered him. You made him disappear. You killed him. After telling her all I'd been wanting to, I exhaled roughly. Oh. What's this? You don't feel anything in your right arm anymore? Okay, then let's use your left. I stabbed her left arm repeatedly and her blood flowed out. But Stoko's reactions weren't fun anymore. She didn't cry or scream like she did before. That put me in a bad mood, so I stabbed the back of her left hand and twisted the knife again. But Stoko still just moaned. She didn't scream anymore. What's the matter? You stifling your screams in protest, thinking I was enjoying your cries? That's great. Stoko was unfazed by my mad laughter. She looked at me with gritted teeth in resignation. Yes, I think that's the truth. Huh? I cornered Nini. That is why he disappeared. I've known that ever since the day he vanished. I wasn't strong enough. I depended on Nini. I'm sure it was hard on him too, but I couldn't stop. You are absolutely right about that. I have no excuse. Stoko didn't sound as if she was mocking me or trying to please me. She spoke so naturally. That's interesting. I never realised you were aware of what you'd done. Nini is coming back. He will come back someday. And when he does, I'm going to show him how independent I've become. I don't need him anymore. I won't hide behind him anymore. I'm going to show him that I really can live on my own. When he comes back, huh? I stabbed Stoko's arm in a mad frenzy. But she still didn't even scream. She bit down tightly and swallowed her pain instead. Nini is coming back. I know he is. I'm waiting for him. And when he comes back, I will apologise for depending on him so much. So I won't give up until that day comes. I'll never depend on him again. Ever. No matter what kind of hardships I have to endure, I won't ask him to help me. I won't call for help. I won't cry. I won't scream. If I cry, Nini will come for me, so I'm going to endure this by myself. Damn you. What do you think you're saying? If it is fun for you, go ahead, stab me as much as you please. But if you think I'm going to cry for Nini, well, too bad. I will not cry, ever. If you refuse to believe me, then try it. Nini is watching me. He is watching me endure this. He will see that I'm not like I was before. And when he sees that, he's going to come back. Come on, try it. I will not cry. Try and see how strong Stoko Hojo is. Shit. I'll show her. Take that and that and that. Nini, you're watching me, right? Become so strong. This won't bring me down. This is nothing. This won't make me cry. I won't cry for your help. I can endure this. I'm going to endure this. This is nothing compared to what you had to go through for me. Shit. Why doesn't she feel the pain? Doesn't it hurt? There's no way it doesn't. I've been stabbing her so much and the knife went in so deep. Her blood has poured to the ground and I've been turning her flesh inside out. How can she still talk that way? Why doesn't she cry and scream? After Stoko said what she wanted to say, she shut her mouth. She didn't say a word after that. No matter how much I tapped her, twisted the knife, tore at her and ripped at her flesh, she didn't even make a sound. What in the world is this? This isn't the Stoko I know. Stoko was never as strong as this. If Stoko was this strong, she wouldn't have been a burden to Satoshi. Why wasn't she as strong before? It's too late. Everything is too late. This idiot's maturity came far too late. Her blood made my hand slippery and I dropped the knife. Was covered in blood from head to toe. Stoko was still enduring the pain. She was enduring this cruelty so she could display her strength. I couldn't defeat Stoko rather. I couldn't crush her strength. Stoko had achieved her goal. She'd become independent, so she didn't need Satoshi anymore. She still believes Satoshi will come back one day. She looks forward to a day when she can show her brother how strong she's become. But Satoshi hasn't seen any of that. Instead, I, who never even thought that Satoshi would come back, was the one who witnessed her strength. What was I thinking? I thought Satoshi was dead. No, I assumed he was. Why did I? I never even thought of waiting for him. I didn't believe he would come back. I didn't wait. I tried to avenge him, but I guess what I really did was forget about him. Stoko is different. She never even thought he was dead. No, maybe she did a little, but even so, she waited. She waited for a day when she could show him how much she'd grown. She waited patiently. And what about me? I didn't do anything. I wanted to forget about my sadness, so I tried to find my enemy. I became a demon, using revenge as an excuse so that I didn't have to think like a human. I lost. I couldn't endure the pain of waiting for Satoshi, so I chose to become a demon. In other words, I got rid of my soul, the soul that loved Satoshi. In other words, I got rid of Satoshi himself. Stoko won. While she'd been gritting her teeth before, her mouth had gone slack. Her eyelids were half shut, but I could see her eyes little. They looked like she was dreaming about something happy. Satoshi was there in her eyes. Stoko endured until Satoshi came for her. Stoko ran up to Satoshi. She jumped onto him. Satoshi hugged her, and they spun around. You can cry now. Satoshi told Stoko that. She cried very hard. Satoshi rubbed her head so gently. We'll be together forever. This artwork's still the best, he said, and continued to rub her head so gently. So gently. Satoshi, I was waiting for you too. What meaningless words. He was already dead inside of me. I never believed in our reunion. How pitiful of me to say that, just because I saw Stoko and Satoshi together again. As Satoshi hugged Stoko, his eyes met mine. Shion, Satoshi said. I asked you a favour. What favour? I tried to remember. What kind of favour did Satoshi ask of me? Satoshi looked at me so sadly because I couldn't remember. That sad look tore my heart to shreds. The blood throwing out from me wasn't as pretty as Toko's blood. My blood was a slimy liquid, like vom with, it's pretty gross. That was what filled my body. Whether it's a real curse or someone's conspiracy, I won't disappear and I won't fall victim to it. You won't disappear? No, not until I buy that teddy bear. I'll get the money pretty soon. I won't go anywhere until then. Huh? A memory of the past, but when? Of course. This is a memory of the day before last year's Watanigashi. Satoshi called me on the phone then. My aunt was home. I have to go. Okay. Mion. Huh? His aunt was home, so I'm sure he wanted to hang up as quickly as possible. Satoshi paused and spoke. I'll leave Satoko to you. My knees and elbows started to shake. My teeth chattered and my fingers were shivering. Satoshi asked me to. What have I done? I couldn't wait for Satoshi to come back, so I filled myself with evil thoughts and acted as I pleased. I didn't ever believe he'd return. I even forgot about Satoshi's last request. How can I say I love him? I just wanted to forget about my feelings of loss, so I made myself all bloody. How can I welcome him back now? I didn't believe Satoshi would come back. I didn't believe Satoshi was alive. I didn't think he was alive, so I thought he was dead. I believed in his death. I killed him in myself. Nobody else did. I did that. But Satoko believed until the very end, and she was rewarded in her final moments. Satoko wasn't here anymore. She had no more need for her bloody, painful shell. But I'm still here. As me when I'm on my period, I have no more need for my bloody, painful shell. But alas, I am always trapped in my bloody, tainted flesh. I'm going to rot inside of it. Satoshi was waiting for both Satoko and I. But to be reunited with Satoshi, we had to keep our promises. Satoko's promise was to be strong. Satoko kept that promise until the bitter end, and Satoshi embraced her. My promise was to take care of Satoko for Satoshi. I never kept the promise from the beginning. Therefore, Satoshi will never embrace me. Even if I were to rub Satoko's wounds and ask her if they hurt, that wouldn't mean anything. That was when I felt something behind me. It wasn't Satoshi or the thing that scared me before. I didn't know who it was, but it was right there, criticizing me for my mistakes. Then, I finally realized it. That thing is me. I had always been there, standing behind myself and watching me break that promise. Satoshi asked me to take care of Satoko, yet I didn't keep that promise. I'd been watching that happen. I cried, and gave up on myself. Wait, Satoshi gave up on me, and I gave up on myself. What will happen to me now? I don't want to be in this darkness. I don't want to be all bloody. Please don't leave me. If I give up on myself, what will happen to my body? There will be nothing left. The only thing I'll have left in me is an evil demon. I get it. I've known it for a long time now. I am nothing but a demon. A demon doesn't feel sad. A demon's heart can never be in pain. A demon doesn't cry. Shion was still apologising. She believed that the only way was for her to save Satoko. But she believed that was the only way for her to save Satoko. Her voice was growing hoarse and weak. Shion, you don't need to count anymore. Good job. What? I guess she realised what happened to Satoko. Shion cried in her cell. Being a demon isn't that bad, huh? I never knew how fun it would be to see other people cry and scream. I've already had plenty of fun in this human world. Maybe soon I'll kill myself and go back to hell. But don't worry, I'll make sure I kill you first. That's why I'm here after all. Demons are pleased when they see people cry and grieve, see? Wait, you like Keiichi, don't you? Okay, I'll rip Keiichi apart before your eyes. What a great idea. I'll kill you and then myself after that. Onagafuchi village is a village of demons. Demons came out from the swamp and attacked the village. I'm going to act like those legendary demons and wait for Oyasha-sama to judge me. That'll be a suitable disaster for Hinamizawa, don't you think? A Hinamizawa disaster, some might say. It's a pretty gross noise. Keiichi? It's me. It's Shion. You took a long time to pick up. I thought you went home and I was about to hang up. Sorry. I was just in the bath. Wouldn't your family pick up for you? Could your parents be out right now, Keiichi? Well, no, they're not really. Anyway, have you heard about Rika and Satoko? No. What happened after that? Were they found? Nah, they haven't found them yet. Keiichi, please don't lose hope. Rika and Satoko. They were kidnapped, weren't they? Yes. I don't think there's much doubt. Rika and Satoko were. No, I mean, I'm sorry. About the mayor. What do you think happened after he was kidnapped? Do you think he's still alive? God, I'm so tired. I genuinely cannot emphasize or underemphasize how bone deep exhausted I am. These last 2 days of work have just ripped it out of me. Anyway, Keiichi sounded confused. He wanted to believe Stoko and Rika were still alive, which is why he was asking. Keiichi was just like Stoko. Unless the culprit was after money, the addict would normally get killed right away. I'd never assumed they'd still be alive, but Keiichi was trying to hold on to a little hope. I could feel his strength. It was much greater than mine, as was his hiccups. I'm a demon. So I didn't come up with an excuse. I think he was killed. Hey, wait, that was abrupt. I think it must be really hard to kidnap someone and keep them like they are. As long as they're not hostages, it would be most practical to kill them once you were done with them. Kill them? Oh, so readily. I mean, what's a human life would do anyway? It's a horrible thing, but that's probably what happened. If the mayor was killed, then did that mean the same had happened to Rika and Stoko? No, that couldn't... Oh, they weren't some random old man. It was Rika. It was Satoko. They couldn't kill them so easily. Or could they? Keiichi was still refusing to believe what I said. He fought so hard because he didn't want to kill his friends within him. I wasn't like that. I killed Satoshi within me so easily. I blame Shion for not protecting Satoshi, but I killed him so easily. It's probably better to think that Rika and Stoko ended up the same way. Oh. Keiichi roared and cried. It was like their deaths were physically agonizing to him. Why? Why kidnap someone and then kill them? Screw curses. People's lives really that cheap? Erasing them and killing them without second thought like this? You're right. You're absolutely right. It would take a demon. Haha. I laughed at myself. I was sure Keiichi didn't notice. Hey, Shion, please tell me, why did Hinamizawa start needing someone to die on the night of Otanigashi? That's what I'd like to know. The fighting over the dam project is already over and done with. Haven't enough people been cursed already? Why is it? Why? If there's a reason, then say it now. I understand how you feel, Keiichi. I really do. The dam conflict ended a long time ago. Yet murders and disappearances keep happening every year under the guise of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Why? Why is it happening? Some of them had nothing to do with it, and some of them didn't deserve to be cursed, so why? Why? That's what I'm asking you. I want to know that as much as anyone. Of course, the curse of Oyashiro-sama never existed. It was just a bizarre environment that allowed people to kill in the name of Oyashiro-sama. But killing in the name of... I'm sorry, I'm so tired I'm probably going slightly loopy. I hope these last 2 and a bit chapters go quickly, because I really genuinely just want to go fall asleep. I'm like already looking forward to passing out. I came home from work yesterday and I was so tired that I just crawled into bed and just lay in bed watching YouTube videos for 3 hours, and then I woke up and made the world's laziest dinner, and then I played like an hour of Destiny, and then I went back to bed. That's how I feel like today. If I didn't have to stream, that's exactly what I would have done today as well. The environment, and nothing more. Nothing would have happened unless there were demons who danced within it. Listen, Oyashiro-sama's curse never existed. It's too unrealistic. Just like you said, someone in the village is using the guise of Oyashiro-sama's curse as a justification for continuing these murders and disappearances every Watanagashi. They were cunning. They've been using the curse as a convenient tool and made a system where they would get rid of 2 enemies in the village every year, and this year that system killed Mr. Kano and Mr. Tomitake. Then why wasn't that enough? Why did the mayor and Rika and Stoko have to get killed too? I don't give a shit about the past. The only thing I care about is why Rika and Stoko needed to be killed. Why is that? I didn't say a word to Stoko, you know? Why even her? Why? I mean, I guess in a way, the fact that we spoke to, Rika did get, I mean, by we I mean Keiichi obviously spoke to Rika, did get her killed, because Rika was like, don't worry, I'm gonna fix it, and then went to go attack Mion. Maybe I should just call her, then went to go attack POV character, and that's why she died, so... Satoshi was speaking through Keiichi's mouth. How could I respond? I didn't know what to say. I could only feel myself being stabbed by the sharpness of those words. Keiichi, please stop being mean. I don't have any idea what's going on either. Everything changed when we went into the storehouse that night. When I heard that Mr. Kano and Mr. Tomitake had been killed that night, I doubted my ears. Then I realized it instantly. I realised what sort of a position I was in now. Pardon me. The four of us snuck in there. Keiichi, you and I won't be so conveniently forgiven. When I thought about that, it made my chest so tight. It was terrifying. You know that feeling, Keiichi, don't you? That's why I confessed everything to Uncle Kimiyoshi. He wasn't mad. He smiled and told me if I was really sorry, I'd never be demoned away. He really did smile at me and told me to leave it to him. I remembered Uncle Kimiyoshi speaking ill of Satoshi. I killed him, but everyone in Hinamizawa did that. I wasn't the only one at fault. When did you let the mayor know? Huh? I'm sorry, Shion. It must seem like I'm kicking you while you're down, but... Shion, you told him, right? You told old man Kimiyoshi. The mayor? Yes. When did you let him know? Eh? Keiichi's tone was becoming sharper. That edge was cruel, but it was a sharp conviction. It wasn't a dull edge that caused excessive pain. It had a clean, pleasant sharpness to it. Did you know that the mayor had a severe case of hemorrhoids and had gone to the hospital for treatment? Actually, Keiichi, I can't sit anywhere. I've got hemorrhoids. Keiichi? What does that have to... Please, answer me. If you didn't know, then just say so. I knew that he had hemorrhoids. It looked like sitting down was really hard for him. He was going to the hospital. You know which hospital, right? I'm sorry. I don't know that much, but Keiichi, what does that have to do with... I want to ask you straight. Shion, when did you tell the mayor about everything? Where and when? You can give me a rough answer, but please give me one. Keiichi, why are you asking that? Very good, Meibara Keiichi. You know who I am, don't you? It was impossible. The day the mayor died, from dawn until he vanished, there was no opportunity for you to contact him. Eh? That's... The mayor left first thing in the morning for his examination at the university hospital all by himself without telling anyone. Shion, you just said you don't know what hospital he went to, so you couldn't have contacted the mayor until he got back. Isn't that right? His train back was delayed by an accident, and he didn't return to his house until the meeting was about to start. So there was no time for you to have told him before the meeting started either. Shion, did you go to that meeting too? Did you attend him and tell him there? If you didn't, then there wouldn't have been any time left. After the meeting was over, the mayor disappeared on his way home. Actually, with the meeting, you didn't even go to the part-time job you said you went to that day. I'll cut to the chase. You haven't been seen since we were at the library together. Keiichi, Shion Sonozaki disappeared the day after Watanagashi. Bingo, Keiichi. I'm impressed. Oishi says you missed missing. Despite that, you've been calling me every night like this, haven't you? Please, Shion, if something I said was wrong, please say so. Shion, I'm begging you. Corner me even further. Corner me so the demon inside can't come up with excuses, so that it can't escape. Shion, there's no way you could have seen the mayor, but if you did see him, the only time I could possibly have seen him on that day was... Then you saw him after the meeting. In other words, it could only have been right before he disappeared, or else afterwards. Click. I screeched and screeched with laughter, then slammed down the phone. Very good, Keiichi. That's right, it's me. I'm the one. Hurry up and corner me. Hurry, let me be free. Was he going to tell the police, or was he going to come here by himself? I wondered which it would be. If the police came, I'd struggle as much as I was able. I'd see how good Oishi would be at catching a demon. If Keiichi came here alone, that wouldn't be smart of him. He couldn't complain about being eaten by a demon then. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him gruesomely while Shion watches. Therefore, Keiichi, you shouldn't hold back. I only ever thought you were a funny guy. I never thought I could expect so much from you. Dun dun dun. Oof. Oofa doofa. This is, bad. It took them a long time to come for me. I had to wait until the following morning. I opened the gate without checking who was ringing the doorbell. I didn't even care who it was. If it was the police, that'd be fine with me. If it was Keiichi, could he defeat me? Keiichi and Rena were there. Well, this is unusual. Aren't you two going to school? We stayed home today. Keiichi is one thing, but you two, Rena? You two are such troublemakers. I laughed. Well, let's not just stand here. Come on in. I didn't think Rena would come. I thought it would be either police or Keiichi alone. I tried tricking Keiichi into coming with me to the underground storehouse. Rena, why don't you try to figure out what I'm attempting to do and stop me? You too, Keiichi. If you figured out I was Shion, why don't you try to figure out the rest? I will act like a demon. I will struggle until the very last moment. So don't hold back. Please, don't hesitate to kill a filthy demon like me. Mion. Whoops, wrong one. First, I have something to apologise for. You do? What for? Well, on the night of Higurashi, the ritual storehouse behind the shrine, I went in there. I didn't expect this to start with an apology. This is even doubly confusing because, so, as I understand it, there was Mion and Shion, let's call them, yeah, so Mion and Shion, or perhaps, we have the character of Mion, the character of Shion, and we also have Twin 1 and Twin 2, and because Twin 1, inverted commas, Mion was treated well, and Twin 2, inverted commas, Shion was treated badly, as kids they sort of swapped back and forth between their different personas, each one taking turns to be each one, and then at one point when they were due to be separated or something happened, Twin 1 was under the persona of Shion, and Twin 2 was in the persona of Mion, so they sort of got locked into that. They couldn't easily change anymore. I'm guessing, emphasis on the guessing, that was when Shion persona was sent away. And so she'd been going by Shion for so long, but she's actually Twin 1, who was born Mion. And so now Keiichi and Rena both think they're apologising to Mion, who as a physical person, human being, is Twin 2, without realising that they're apologising to Twin 1, who is finally reclaiming her name of Mion, but they don't realise that it is person 1 POV character. It's all very confusing. Man, fucking twins, they never make it easy. I didn't expect this to start with an apology. Okay, so he admitted to sin of entering the ritual storehouse. I guess that was manly of him. I don't really care if the storehouse is forbidden anymore. Whatever. The rule came from those who believed it was even a sacred place at all. Mion, you called Rika and Stoko the day before last, didn't you? I don't remember doing so. If you have a reason to think so, could you let me hear it? It was evening, before dinner time. Rika should have come here, bringing a big bottle of soy sauce, to have you share some with her. Rena spoke with confidence. She wasn't even trying to gauge my reaction. She was simply telling me the truth. That cleverness was very pleasant to see. Why do you think that? It's not hard to understand. Mion, you saw it too, didn't you? Rika's room. There was chilled tofu, but no soy sauce. Plus, the big bottle of soy sauce that should have been under the sink was nowhere to be found. What? Is that why she would have come here? Rena sure is sharp. I tried to beat around the bush, but she was confident in her conclusions. She was cornering me. She was doing such a great job, too. It really put me at ease. Okay, demon. Rena knows what she's talking about. What kind of excuse are you going to come up with now? It's a long explanation, so I'll get to the point. The contents of that fridge provided a vivid account of what you said over the phone while luring her out. There it is. This game is over. Rena, I was right about you. I don't like you. You really are just too sharp. Shion is so obtuse that she never even recognised this side of you. I should start calling them Twin 1 and Twin 2. That's... I had no idea I had such incredible detective right next to me the whole time. Can't believe you'd figure out everything, down to the phone conversation just from what was inside the fridge. Haha, you got me there. You got me, you got me. I laughed like crazy. I laughed because I was having so much fun. I sensed the poison inside of my stomach dissipating and felt free and refreshed. Mion, the police have suspected you for a long time now. Oishi's officers have had the house under observation so that they could break in any time. Keiichi was threatening me? He was telling me I couldn't run or resist, so I should just surrender and accept my fate. You aren't doing that intensely enough, Keiichi. Shouldn't you grab my collar and knock me to the ground? Today is the day I'm prepared to die. After that, they went easy. Because they just wanted to know the reason why Mion committed such crimes. You're all being too lenient about this. I'm a demon. I'm a murderer. Are you saying that if you can understand the reasoning, murder is okay? A demon is a demon. A murderer is a murderer. Whether their motive is to have fun, to live, or to take revenge, that makes no difference. Why do you even want to know that? Why don't you just tackle me and take me to the police? Look, there. The demon's trying to deceive you. It's a pleasure to meet you both. I am the successor of the Sonozaki family, Mion. Welcome to the Sonozaki family's house today. I'd like to greet you on behalf of our leader, Oreo. You seem to want to ask various questions. I'd like to answer everything as clearly as possible. I then told them about the strange events that led to Onagafuchi village becoming Hinamizawa, which Mr. Kano had told me about before. About half of it was the truth, but the other half was completely made up. I just made it sound like it was only natural that their best friend committed such a gruesome crime. I'll have to go back and read those sections of Watanagashi again to try and work out what was made up. Keiichi and Rena were both overwhelmed by the history of Onagafuchi village, which was swallowed by this gloomy fate. Oh well, I guess I made it sound interesting enough. I'm sure they enjoyed hearing me tell the story. But you know, I'm the one who committed the incidents that happened in the present time. What was the point in listening to those old folktales? You thinking it'll make your best friend's crime easier to swallow? You're just trying to satisfy yourselves. I'm a demon. I'm a murderer. I have sinned. Those old folktales have nothing to do with the crimes I committed. The way those two listened so intensely almost made it fun. I told them that people used to make canned human meat and conducted gruesome research during the war. Those were things Mr. Kano had told me. Hey, you two. Haven't you realised yet? Haven't you realised that what I'm talking about has nothing to do with what we're dealing with right now? You both look so serious. You two are such fools. So that Hinamizawa village might once more be like Onagafuchi village, so that we may again be a sacred existence, worthy of worship. That's the mission of those who inherit the demon of the Sonozaki main family. Those who inherit the demon? For generations, the Sonozaki family has a custom of including the character for demon in the name of its successors. If you write out my name on your hand, it should appear plain as day. Keiichi tried to write me on his palm. Oh, she's right. The character for demon is in there. Not only in my name either. The demon is engraved on my body as well. I stood up and made to show my bare back. Of course, I don't actually have a tattoo there. It's okay, Mion. You don't need to show us, okay? Thank you. I laughed a little. So I guess it must have been... Oh, on the day that they gave On the day that they gave Mion Persona the tattoo was the day that Shion Persona was taken away. Unfortunately, Shion Persona was Twin 2. And then... I guess they could always... distinguish it. Either that or we really are talking to Twin 2 Shion and she's basically just decided that she is Twin 1. They must really believe that I'm their best friend Mion. My goodness. The demon has won already. They were doing so well at the beginning too. I eventually sat back down after I finished telling up my made-up tearjerker stories. It's your loss if you will shed any tears now. I looked at Keiichi. He wasn't crying, but he was overcome by emotion. I looked at Rena. Surprisingly, she still maintained an aggressive look, showing me her will to fight. But Rika and Satoko, you killed them too, didn't you? Mion? You good, Rena? You know what I just told you isn't an excuse for murder. You usually act like such a goofball, but that's not how you really are. You sure are something. You're far sharper than Shion. I'm not saying it's okay if you killed other people. Regardless, Mion, you killed Rika and Satoko. I'm not trying to justify what I've done. I have a demon inside of me. The demon is in my name, in my body, and also in my soul. But the demon wasn't the one who killed them. I did. Sonozaki Mion did. Rika and Satoko died because Mion wanted them dead. That will never change. You're right, Rena. Come on, Rena. Try to figure out who I really am. You still believe Shion, my victim, is the real culprit. Poor Shion, I'm making Rena believe that you're responsible. That was it for Rena, though. She couldn't figure out I was Mion. Please, turn yourself in. Rena spoke to Mion. We'll go with you. We'll never leave a friend by herself. Crying children and Rena are the only things I can't beat. Haha. Too bad, Rena. I won. I'm well aware of how serious my own crimes are. Even if they accept me turning myself in, I'll probably never be able to come back here. So I'd like you to hear one last selfish request. What is it? 30 minutes is fine. Just let me have some time alone with Keiichi. Eh? Keiichi looked startled to suddenly hear his name. Ah, you're so insensitive, Keiichi. That's what made my sister cry. Keiichi, is that okay with you? If you don't want to, then I won't make you. She's right. It's okay if you don't want to. After all, I am a demon. And Keiichi is a bona fide human who moved here from somewhere else. For us to be compatible, as long as Oyashiro-sama doesn't exist to mediate, it simply isn't possible. Keiichi hesitated a little. Come on, Keiichi, condemn me. Condemn me and tell me you'd never go. Sure, it's fine. Thank you. Fool. I'd like to thank you too, Keiichi. Rena stood up. As promised, she made to leave. It's fine, Shion. You can wait right here. I just want to go around the garden with Keiichi. If you're bored, you can go to my room. You can read any manga you like. And if there are any volumes you want, you may as well take them. I don't want to. Mion's books belong to Mion. Rena couldn't bring them back home with her so freely. He's such a good kid, only at times like this. I took Rena's head and rubbed it like Satoshi used to do to me. Okay, let's go, Keiichi. The game was over. Too bad, Rena. At least this was more fun than if Keiichi came alone. If he did, he could have asked me to run away with him after hearing my stories. Rena's eyes were like those of a judge. In those eyes, I sensed both affection and observance. I said 30 minutes, so she'd probably only wait for 30 minutes. If I took even a second longer, she'd call Oishi. I'm a little disappointed. Rena still thinks I'm Mion, twin one. Twin two. I'm confusing myself now, good lord. She didn't manage to see through me. I thought someone like her would see the demon in me. I guess I was wrong. Too bad. Keiichi followed me after putting his shoes on. Can I hold your arm? Such a humble request. I don't mind. I took Keiichi's arm. It was as warm as Satoshi's. I felt a little bewildered. Do you get kind of nervous with your arm through mine? You're not thinking, for example, I'd suddenly put you in a world-class joint lock or anything? You two say the same things. I don't think that, at all. He was remembering the time when I'd held his arm in town. I think Shion liked you, Keiichi. I see. I told him how my sister felt. Shion was with Satoshi for a long time, but what they had was friendship. They never had anything more than that. That was why she fell in love with Keiichi. If I were in her position, I would also have fallen in love with him. If Shion was able to fall in love with him, then I could fall in love with him too. Keiichi smiled gently. I almost saw Satoshi in that smile. The Keiichi I knew was worthless and superficial. I never realised he could smile like Satoshi. Mion and Shion, you got along well, didn't you? Well, I wonder. Keiichi, do you think your right hand and left hand get along? Huh? My right hand and left hand? I don't think you could describe them as getting along or not. That's how a relationship is. You can't measure it by how well we get along. We'd been together since we were born. We'd been living in this world as a pair. But I was Mion and she was Shion. Mion was treated specially, and I insisted on being her. Of course that wasn't pleasant for Shion. Deciding to be fair, we switched places all the time. We were probably different from other identical twins. We didn't only like the same things or do things the same way, we even managed to share our knowledge and experiences. When we talked about our experiences, we could share them. As Mion and Shion, we shared everything. That's why each of us was both Mion and Shion at the same time. No, maybe Shion was the only one who thought that way. I was a little different than that. I was simply letting Shion be Mion once in a while. I was Mion, the successor to the Sonozaki family. I was supposed to be treated specially. I always thought that was my privilege. Just like everyone tried to distinguish between Mion and Shion, I also tried to distinguish between us. For example, one of your hands is dominant, so there would always be a better hand. If you only had one of it, you'd put it on your dominant hand without thinking, right? I think maybe it was like that for us. That doesn't mean, though, that anyone would be okay with losing their left hand. It's that kind of unexplainable relationship. I think that maybe you live too close together and just stop being able to see it, but I think that means you get along really well. I'm only a child, so the day before the festival, I was really jealous of when you and Shion were messing around with each other. I think you're jealous of something that doesn't exist. Yes, we twins used to have a lot of fun trading places with each other, but now that we have such distinctly different personalities, our resemblance only gets in the way. As an older sister, I felt I was mean for thinking that way, so as a punishment, I became Shion. Who am I? I never had a solid identity in the first place. I was Mion, then I was Shion. I should have just accepted that, but something has changed. I don't even know if I'm Mion or Shion anymore. Had I really been stupid enough to hope that Rena would figure that out for me? Shion is still alive. Really? Keiichi looked into my eyes. I nodded quietly. Yeah, I'd been thinking to give the most horrible death of all, so I kept her locked up. I never did think of a good way to do it, though. This was a lie. I've already come up with ideas, and I've already begun to execute them. I dumped the hag into the well in front of Shion. I dumped Kimiyoshi and Rika in there. I even killed Stoko too. And right now I'm plotting to kill Keiichi, who Shion fell in love with. I am a demon. Any such gruesome act is simply pleasure to me. That's when I felt a warm hand rubbing my head. It wasn't Satoshi's hand, but Keiichi's. Keiichi and Satoshi are totally different. Why did Shion fall in love with him? His rough hand didn't make me happy. That he understood my feelings was just my imagination. I wasn't happy and it didn't feel good. It didn't. Come with me. I want you to see all of my sins. Although, Keiichi, it might be the worst thing you've ever seen. I'm going to commit my final crime. I'm going to let you see it. I'm going to let Shion see it. When I do, are you still going to think I'm your best friend? Poor Shion. Keiichi's going to die thinking it's you who's killing him. If you want to turn back, now's your chance. I don't know what impression you have of me on Sonozaki, but it will surely change once you go inside. That's what they all say. It'll never change. I'll say it as many times as I need to. Mion Sonozaki is the best friend I could ever have. Oh, you are such a fool. You don't sound cool at all. Oh, I don't understand human feelings because I'm now a demon, but I think I can understand why she loves you. I open the iron door to the underground storehouse and beckon Keiichi inside. Come on, Keiichi. This is obviously a trap, don't you see? The spaceman is transparently suspicious. Don't you think you should run to the police? But Keiichi was reckless. He swallowed, then stepped inside. Ha! You really are a fool. We went down the stairs to the basement, and I let him into the torture room. Everyone is shocked the first time visiting this room. I used to be that way. Of course, Keiichi looked surprised too, but he was trying not to show it. Obviously, he wanted to express his shock at seeing this horrifying room, but he also knew that if he voiced that shock, he would be rejecting his best friend who was trying to confess his sins to him, so he did everything he could to stifle this surprise. According to something family had from a long time ago wrote, blood spat has impact, despite the fact that it doesn't tax the sacrifice. Higurashi was meant as a deterrent after all. Maestas has thought up all kinds of different showy torture. That's the space for the audience. Higurashi is a deterrent after all. Wouldn't make sense if there were no guests. Keiichi smiled quietly as he listened to me. No matter what cruelty came out of my mouth, he would embrace me. Was this really the superficial Keiichi Maebara I knew? Right here is where I killed everyone. There were no spectators to watch me, but I held a Higurashi of my own. Well, perhaps there was one spectator. Huh? A spectator? Me. I, the demon, was watching the entire time Mion held the ceremony. I started to laugh. How many hints do you need, Keiichi? When are you going to figure out I'm not really your best friend? Come on, hurry up, you're running out of time. The game is almost over. Oops, hitting the wrong button. This was a game. This was a game of murder. I'd killed people, using my revenge for Satoshi as an excuse. The demon was trying to capture Keiichi and kill him before Mion's eyes. But Keiichi had a chance. If he figured out he wasn't his best friend, then he'd win. If not, he was out. When did I come up with that rule? I guess it was sometime today. Or did I come up with it just a minute ago? Since the two of them aren't too bright, I decided to be easy on them, I guess. You are Mion's best friends, right? Don't you believe in her? Have you already made Mion into a murderer within yourselves? Why don't you try to protect the Mion within you? Why don't you try to believe your friend can't be a murderer? If you could believe until the very end, like Stoko did, you would have realised it wasn't Mion, your best friend, but just someone who looks like her. But if you can't, if you still believe that I'm Mion, then you're just like me. I killed the Satoshi within me so easily, and you will do the same. You don't deserve to live. Back there is the prison. Is Shion there? You're not going to make it. Once we reach Shion's cell, your time is up. The demon will win. Shion? Is that Shion? Keiichi? Is that you, Keiichi? Keiichi ran to the cell. Are you alright, Shion? You hurt? No. No! Shion screamed. I was standing right behind Keiichi. It was time. My preparations to kill the boy she loved were complete. For her, this was going to be the worst possible torture. Calm down, Shion. Everything is over now. Everything. Keiichi tried to quell Shion's distress by talking to her in a calm voice. It was such a funny sight. Keiichi was the only one who had no idea what was going on. Shion, how have you been? No more. Please, no more. I don't want to see anyone else die. If you hate me, then just kill me already. I'm the one you hate most, right? Kill me. Kill me right now. Sis. Calm down, Shion. It's all over now. It's going to be alright. So calm down. Relax. I won't kill you. No, I won't kill you just yet. It's game over. I gave you enough chances. You cornered me quite well once, but that was it. You couldn't figure out that I'm not your best friend, Mion. You couldn't believe that Mion isn't a murderer. Sorry, you couldn't figure out that I'm not your best friend, Mion. Not to Mion, but I'm your best friend who is Mion. You couldn't believe that Mion isn't a murderer. Please stop. Don't kill Keiichi. Keiichi has nothing to do with this, does he? If you're going to kill someone, then kill me right now. I don't want anyone else to die. If you want to die that badly, then after I've killed this man, I'll take my time making mincemeat out of you. In accordance with the ancient rites, I'll do it slowly, starting with your extremities. I'll shave you down and mince you to bits. I had that mincing machine set up specifically for you, after all. Would it be funnier if I were to mince up Keiichi in front of you? Hey, quit it already. What do you have to gain by scaring her at this point? No, Keiichi, run away. Here you are, demon. Go ahead and take my soul. I'd been living my life to avenge Satoshi, but that wasn't what he wanted from me. That was just for my own satisfaction. I couldn't even face Satoshi, so I'll bring this to an end in the way that I want. The world became a total mess. Satoshi hates me and I hate myself too. I'm going to complete my revenge. I don't want anyone to sympathize with me. I won't pretend to be some tragic heroine either. I'm going to become a murderer that nobody could sympathize with. So please, grant a suitable final moment to me. A bluish-white flash filled the huge cave. Keiichi fell down like a doll. Shion reached out to him from the other side of the bars. She screamed at me not to kill Keiichi. Go ahead, cry and blame me. Don't even think of offering your forgiveness. I am the most rotten existence in this world. So please, grant me the worst possible ending. Shion begged me desperately to let Keiichi go. I simply abused her, slandered her, and disgraced her. The more Shion suffered, the deeper I'd fall into hell. It wasn't enough. It wasn't even close to deep enough. It wasn't deep enough to compensate for my sins. I dragged Keiichi to the table that I tried to put Stoko on and restrained him there. Keiichi began to move sluggishly. The stun gun must not have worked too well on him. Can you hear it, Shion? I'm going to get started now. Savor Keiichi's fresh screams to your heart's content. We are going to go for the right option, although at some point I'm actually going to do myself a screenshot to remind myself that this is where the wrong option is. And then I turned around to face Keiichi. Give it a fucking rest. Keiichi squeezed out those words. He sounded good, like he was about to bite me. Awake at last, are we? I lied before, you know, about having wanted to give Shion the most miserable death of all, but locking her up because I hadn't thought of a good way yet. That was a lie. I smiled as I laid out the huge nails and hammer made specifically for the nail table. I'll let her hear the screams of all those people that died because of her, and after they've soaked into her very soul, then I'll kill her. I've got pretty good taste, huh? Who are you? Huh? I'm Mion. Mion Sonozaki. Have you lost your mind from fear? No, you're not. There's no way you can be Mion Sonozaki. I stopped moving. Keiichi? Shit. Decided the naming game would be over once we reached Shion's cell. Therefore, even if you guessed this time, it would be too late. Oh well, sure. I'll listen to you. This is your last chance. I see. Then if I'm not Mion, who am I? Come on, Keiichi. Guess who I am. Why don't you try and save Mion, the girl who fell in love with you? A demon. Huh? You're not Mion. Mion was just here. Give her back. Keiichi, is your brain really doing okay? You're not going crazy with fear? Don't touch me. Damn demon. Give her back. Give Mion back. My best friend. Give Mion back. I listened to him with a blank expression. I know it's nonsense to demand Mion's return when she's right in front of me. But this person in front of me can't possibly be Mion. Can't accept that. It's great. So I'm not Mion or Shion. He doesn't even see me as my sister. No wait, that's not it. Keiichi protected the Mion in his heart until the end. He didn't accept the fact that Mion was a murderer, and not just that either. He protected the Shion in his heart as well. He didn't conclude that if Mion wasn't a murderer, then it must have been Shion. To Keiichi, Shion was someone who always made fun of Mion, but that was it. It wasn't like they'd known each other for a long time. But Keiichi protected her. He protected Shion from being a murderer. That's why I'm a demon and not Mion or Shion, huh? A demon, huh? Demon? That's stupid. But isn't that just right on the money? Keiichi, are you trying to drown me in my own tears? However, Keiichi didn't back off. He kept screaming. He screamed loudly so that I could hear his voice even when I was stuck inside of a demon. You can do it, Mion. Don't lose this piece of shit demon. You're strong. Show me how strong you are. Surely he isn't talking to me knowing I'm the real Mion, right? He's just confusing us again. So there's no reason to let my heart be disturbed by Keiichi's screams towards Mion. Come on, Mion. Mion. Why did you lose to a demon like this? You're not that weak, are you? Don't give up. Fight. Fight. He's right. I didn't fight back. How did he know? How did he know I didn't fight back? I lost to the demon. After all, I'm weak. I'm not strong enough to defeat the demon. Even so, Keiichi continued to talk to Mion. His voice had become hoarse and he'd begun sobbing. He kept mumbling, Mion, Mion. Keiichi, this may not be something too pleasant to take to the grave with you, but you really seem to want to know, so I'll tell you just one thing. A long time ago, the demon came to live inside me. It was gnawing at my heart, trying to spur me to violence, but I suppressed it with my reason. The demon had become quiet, and I got to thinking it had gone away somewhere. As it turned out, I was wrong. It hadn't left. It was just sleeping inside me. That was the truth. When I learned about Satoshi's disappearance, my weak soul couldn't take the sadness and anger filled me to the brim. But the insanity had stopped there. Time had healed me, and embraced me with memories of Satoshi. The demon woke up again due to a certain small opportunity. What do you think that opportunity was? Such a little thing. Might be strange for me, a demon to say, but you're the reason that everything got so messed up. A tear rolled down my cheek. At that time, if you'd given me that toy you got, without hesitation, maybe everything wouldn't have got so twisted. Probably can understand. I wouldn't expect you to. But you see, all sorts of things started falling over like dominoes after that, and soon it was too much for me to control. It only makes sense you wouldn't be aware of knocking over the first one since it was so small, but you're the one who set them up. If Keiichi hadn't done something so insensitive, Shion wouldn't have cried. Shion, twin 2. Shion, twin 2, cried and talked to me about it. That had reminded me of Satoshi. I became jealous of her for having someone she loved so close to her. It was a very small jealousy, but that little feeling woke up the demon who was sleeping deep inside of me. After that, I just let the demon take over. The demon ate up all of my sadness from the loss of Satoshi, and filled my heart with an ocean of revenge, even though I knew that wouldn't make Satoshi happy. Then the scary incidents that followed dragged me to hell, from whence there was no escape. Can't be, can it? It only makes sense you wouldn't be aware of it. Even so, Keiichi, you are without a doubt the cause. If you had nonchalantly given me the doll that day, then I don't think this would have happened. Was simply transferring the blame to Keiichi? Such a tiny thing woke up the demon inside of me. The demon would have woken up eventually. Something down with the sickness. Waking the demons. I can't remember the lyrics at all now. I was at fault. I didn't fight back. I let the demon live in my soul, and I let the demon possess me. Keiichi didn't hide his tears. They were pouring down his cheeks. Maybe he was crying in my place since I'd become a demon and couldn't cry of my own free will. Can I start now, then? This method of torture is very simple. I nail one of these into the first joint of your left pinky finger. Then I'll nail each one in order until I get to your thumb, and then I'll go back to your pinky and nail one joint into the middle. So on and so on until I hammer 15 nails into your left hand. When that's over with, I'll do your right hand next. After that, if you're still conscious, I'll tell you. There are lots of nerves bundled in your fingertips, so it hurts far more than you could imagine. Some people apparently pass out before you finish hammering 30 nails into their hands, so I put a nail to Keiichi's left pinky. Once I hit it with a huge hammer, it would start, and it would be over. I didn't hesitate at all when I was torturing the others, but somehow I do when it's you. This will satisfy your demon, Mion. If it will sate the demon, then do to me what you will. I didn't understand what he just said, so I tried to repeat his words in my head. Are you serious? Compared to how much I hurt Mion, this is nothing, right? Do as much as you want. In exchange, promise me 2 things. After you're satisfied with causing me pain, forgive Shion. She's been punished enough to make up for her crime of sneaking into the storehouse, hasn't she? You, after all this, you still care about Shion more than yourself? I am Mion Sonozaki. So why are my eyes growing so damp when hearing Keiichi show concern for Shion? The other thing is that when you've had your fill, you disappear. Give that body back to Mion. That's all. You know, You're not even considering possibly begging for your life or anything? Can I ask you to promise 3 things instead of 2? The third is to leave me alive. Haha. You said 2 in the beginning, didn't you? So you can't have any more. That's a shame. Even in this situation, Keiichi and I joked around and laughed. Then I knew. I knew why Shion fell in love with him. He's different from Satoshi, but he's a good guy. Probably won't keep these promises, understand? I'm a demon after all. I guess there's nothing I can do then. Keiichi smiled and closed his eyes. Keiichi, I'll agree to just the 3rd thing, okay? Huh? Your first wish. To save Shion. That's not possible. The demon will kill her. It's already been decided, so I can't stop it. So please give up on that. I stroked Keiichi's chin. As for your 2nd wish, to give this body back to Mion, that won't happen either. After today, Mion will never come back. From today on, even if my body remains, it will just be a shell, because the demon has taken it over. That isn't true. Mion is Mion. Don't say such sad things, like that she won't ever come back. Can you hear it? That sound. Been hearing a noise. I knew what it had to be. Pang. Pang. A dull sound was repeating in a regular rhythm. It was accompanied by a light tremor. People were trying to force open the iron door to the underground storehouse. You're late, so Rena probably called Oishi. That spaced-out girl being so quick-thinking was the one thing I didn't anticipate. I agree with you there. Really? I wonder how much Keiichi really knows about Rena. Rena Ryugu. I won this time. Rena couldn't figure out who I was until the end. Or maybe she did. Rena didn't seem confused about whether I was Mion or Shion. Perhaps Rena could tell Mion and Shion apart through a sense of smell. She was good at that kind of thing. No way. I'm overestimating her. I brought out my stun gun so Keiichi could see the sparks. Probably never seen one before, right? It's a real stun gun. It's legally modified and its power has been increased quite a bit. Was that what you hit me with before? It's not a toy children should be playing with, you know? You're right. Pang! They must have broken the first door. The path was complicated, but there was no other door except for the bit to this torture room. I won't kill you, but I will have you go to sleep for a bit, Keiichi. I wish you will be here soon. This will only hurt a bit. Keiichi bit down and smiled bitterly. I paused, hesitating a little. Keiichi opened his eyes to see what was wrong. I'm sorry for disgracing Mion. I made a promise before coming in here. Whatever happens, the Mion inside my heart won't change. Look, forget about that. If you ever see me after today, don't come near me. By then it will be the demon that inherited my corpse. Bzz. Keiichi fell unconscious. I locked the door to the torture room. I locked the door to the huge cave too. That should give me some time. Shion, come on out. I opened the door cell and told Shion to leave it. She was crying. You asked me to let Keiichi go, so I did. He's that cold because of the stun gun. The police should be here soon, so they'll set him free. Thank you. Thank you. You still have something more to do. Shion has to escape from here. I took Shion to the cell with a hidden passage. Before that, I'll give Mion back to you. Eh? Take those clothes off. We're switching again. Here, the rubber band for your hair. Shion had no idea what was going on, but she changed her clothes as I ordered her to. I gave her the flashlight and she hung it around her neck. You go first. Find the hidden escape route at the bottom of the well. The light from the flashlight wasn't enough to entirely illuminate the way down. Nobody in their right mind would want to descend that well, but Shion obeyed and timidly climbed down the ladder. When she passed entirely below the rim of the well, I brought out the stun gun and put it to Shion's head. Shion understood the meaning of that. Sis? I didn't kill Keiichi, just as you wanted. You told me I could kill you instead, didn't you? I'm going to keep our promise. Shion's hands and feet were clinging to a very unstable ladder, so there was no way she could protect herself. She was in a critical situation. You, who look like Mion, need to fall into the bottom of the well and die. I, who look like Shion. Keiichi will testify that I'm the victim. I'll wait in the cell for police to get here. I'm sure they'll eventually find out the truth from our fingerprints, but by the time they get that far, I'll be hiding somewhere else. Pretty good, huh? You killing me out of revenge for Satoshi? If you know that much, you should have been prepared. Go apologise to Satoshi at the bottom of the well. Sis, Satoshi isn't at the bottom of the well. Huh? Didn't you say the bodies get dumped down here? All I said was that if he was killed at the SONOZAKI house, this is where his body would be. What are you telling me now? Can't you be a little clearer? I also liked Satoshi. Yeah, I'm sure. I liked him after all. I was very sad when Satoshi disappeared, so I looked into things. And I interrogated Granny. I even thought about throttling her. Then she told me. She said she was only telling me as a successor, so I had to keep it a secret. What she said was something hard to believe. The hag said to Shion, the Sonozaki family had nothing to do with the disappearance of Satoshi. Shion couldn't understand, so she asked again. The Sonozaki family had a lot of influence in the underworld because of our dad's connections. In fact, they used such legal measures during the dam conflict. Therefore, people just assumed the Sonozaki family had pulled the strings when the dam construction incident took place. Even the hag laughed meaningfully and said suspicious things, so everyone believed she was the mastermind. But it was all a performance. It was a hoax by the Sonozaki family head. It was just a bluff. The family took credits for the incidents to make it look like they were pulling the strings. With the influence they already had, this bluff was very believable. Therefore, people thought of the Sonozaki family as one that had deep connections in the underworld, and that they were capable of producing any sort of conspiracy. People had believed that since the dam conflict. Aryo just smiled at things she had nothing to do with, as if she was pulling the strings. When the relatives saw that, they became fearful of Aryo's power. When the dam construction site manager was killed, Aryo smiled meaningfully. When the relatives saw that, they assumed Aryo was behind it. When the Hojo couple fell off the cliff, when the Frude couple died violently, when Satoshi's aunt died and Satoshi disappeared, the hag just smiled meaningfully. Everyone believed that the Sonozaki family was behind all those incidents. It's a lie! You're trying to tell me the Sonozaki family had nothing to do with any of it? How can I believe that? I don't think Granny would lie, especially about Satoshi's disappearance, and she said she knew nothing about it, because Granny approved of the relationship between Satoshi and you, remember? You ripped your nails off so she would forgive everything. No, that's a lie. Don't try to fool me. Then who made Satoshi disappear? Who? That, I don't know. But it wasn't the Sonozaki family. It wasn't Granny. You know the curse system, right? The hag didn't need to give the command for Satoshi to be attacked. All she had to do was look concerned, and then someone else would take care of it. That was the system. Shion couldn't say anything in response. Even if the hag had forgiven him personally, as long as he was the object of the curse, the executioner would follow him forever. Granny told me that she tried to find out who was actually behind this curse of Oyashiro-sama for a long time, but she couldn't. Everyone believed it was someone in the village, but she couldn't find out who it was. She couldn't find out? Then why did the curse take place every year? Isn't it weird? But there wasn't anyone. There really wasn't. I told you that Rika Frude tried to attack me earlier with a syringe, didn't I? How do you explain that? She wasn't just acting out of desperation like a cornered rat. She came over to my house and attacked me with a bottle of pepper spray and a syringe. I bet Mr. Tomitake was killed with the same stuff. That, I don't know. I can't believe Rika would do something like that. I'm the one who saw how she died and I still can't believe it. What a completely abnormal way to go. I don't think Shion and the hag are lying. That would mean the hag wasn't in as much control as we thought she was, though. She didn't know anything about that scary drug, or if the Frude family was the one executing the curse. If the Sonozaki family had nothing to do with it, then who made the series of mysterious deaths possible? Was it just a coincidence that something happened 5 years in a row on the night of Higurashi? I doubt it. It's impossible. A human must have made it happen. I wonder if maybe there just wasn't a mastermind. Or if there was, it wasn't in the criminal mastermind sense, but in the taking advantage of something just to be a psychopath who murders people sense. And it was all decided someone the Sonozaki family wasn't aware of. The Kimiyoshi family didn't know anything. Kimiyoshi believed the Sonozaki family was behind it. Was it the Frude family? With Rika's behaviour and the elderly people who believed in her so blindly, did some kind of power exist around the Frude family that created the curse? No way. The Frude couple themselves were victims of it. How could a little girl like Rika possess power stronger than that of the Sonozaki family? No way, it's just impossible. In other words, I had killed the heads of all three families and was trying to bring an end to the whole thing, all as a result of a misunderstanding about the dark secret of Hinamizawa. Then what about my revenge? Did I kill all the wrong people? People who had nothing to do with Satoshi's disappearance at all? It's good, Shion. Still trying to turn the tables on me, huh? Sis, please, believe me. I'm not your enemy. I'm really not. Please believe me, sis. Shion begged with tears in her eyes. That would have affected me if I was still Shion's sister. But I don't feel anything anymore, because I'm a demon. I'll be done once I kill Shion. I've already decided that. If I don't finish it up, what would my existence be for? What about the life I devoted to revenge for Satoshi? How dare she tell me all this nonsense to confuse me at the very end? If what she said was the truth, then what I'd done wasn't revenge. It was just the curse of the 5th year. Shion, if you're truly innocent, you can go to heaven. Apologise to Satoshi for me. bluish-white spark lit up the darkness, and Shion disappeared into the well. Please apologize to Satoshi in heaven. I can't, since I won't be going there. Instead, I'm going deep into hell. Jumping into this well would be too simple an atonement for what I've done. Until I find a perfect way to end my life, I'm going to live as best I can. I'm so confused. I'm really genuinely very confused by that. Throwing another fucking spanner into the works, I tell you that. Icon for this one is the stun gun. Shion SONOZAKI'S last confession is dubious. Did the hag convince her that the SONOZAKI family had nothing to do with it? Or is that the truth? In my own investigation so far, I've proven there are aspects of the curse which can't be explained by the SONOZAKI family alone. So my notes were all bogus from the beginning. Those 200 pages are full of bullshit. I thought of burning this notebook, but I won't do it. This notebook proves my guilt. I won't distort the facts. I won't burn it. After all, my life was only a notebook long. I wonder if anybody will read this. If somebody does, please let them learn something from my stupidity. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, dubbed Oyashiro-sama's curse. If you're reading this, please find the truth. That's my only wish. Boy howdy am I ever trying. June 1983. Mion SONOZAKI. I have once again not got the achievement for reading everything. Is there another tip after chapter 14? Or have I just not got the thing? Well, I'm pretty certain I read them all, so... June 1983. There has been a series of disappearances in Hinamizawa village, Shishibono City, Ekex Prefecture. The suspect is Mion SONOZAKI, 17-18 years old. Allegedly, she abducted 5 Hinamizawan residents, Oryo SONOZAKI, Shion SONOZAKI, Kiichiro Kimiyoshi, Rika Furude, and Satoko Hojo, and imprisoned them from June 19th through to the 21st. The fact that stuff happens on the 21st always got me fucked up, because that's my birthday. 21st, 1983, I would have been minus 12 years old. Preliminary investigations on the incidents were delayed at the time due to insufficient evidence, but by chance the case was solved rather abruptly. On the morning of the 22nd, a vehicle patrolling the SONOZAKI property heard screams from inside and rushed in as an emergency measure. They secured the suspect's missing younger sister, Shion SONOZAKI, and her 2 missing classmates, Keiichi Maebara and Rena Ryugu. The suspect fled the scene. We found hair, pieces of skin, and blood of the 4 missing people, Oryo SONOZAKI, Kiichiro Kimiyoshi, Rika Furude, and Satoko Hojo, in the torture room that was discovered in the basement of the art building on the SONOZAKI family property. Supposedly, that's where they were killed. We concluded that the victims were tortured in that torture room. However, their remains have still not been found. According to imprisoned classmates' advice, the bodies should be somewhere in the basement of the outbuilding where the torture took place. However, nothing's been uncovered as of yet, including the escape route the suspect took. In addition, investigations continue regarding any possible connection to the series of mysterious deaths in recent years, but no evidence that Mion SONOZAKI was involved, either directly or indirectly, has been found. There are still many unclear points as to the motive behind the incident, and as those of the SONOZAKI family and the residents of Hinamizawa have been extremely uncooperative in assisting us, we expect to require a long time to clarify them. The opinion of a local officer knowledgeable about the region is that this may have been lynching, an internal form of punishing sacrilegious acts carried out against the belief of Hinamizawa village. It is clear that these incidents are particularly rooted in this region, and the Prefectural Police Department has ordered a cautious investigation. We anticipated gaining valuable clues from the missing person believed to have been in prison for the longest time, Shion SONOZAKI, the suspect's younger sister. However, the incident has left such serious mental after effects that she's not been in a state of mind to properly answer any questions about what she knows. The psychiatrist concluded that she's in a temporary state of shock, but as of today, she has yet to show any improvement. I was acting at first. It was just an act to avoid being interrogated by the police. As it turns out, though, fake insanity can become real. You see, I couldn't bear it any longer. I continued to be haunted by the presence Rena Ryugu had talked about. It was so close that it could almost touch my back. It wasn't Satoshi and it wasn't a hallucination. It had become Shion's ghost. Shion didn't go to heaven after all. She was always by my side instead. Shion didn't like the fact that I was still alive when she wasn't, so she decided to haunt me until she witnessed my death. Every night she whispered to me, telling me to die. I get it. I get it. Haha. I shouted at the Shion in my back. Through my mouth she shouted back at me. Must look odd to other people. They think I was arguing with myself. It's not fair. Why are you still living, sis? Die. Die already. You said you died right after you killed me. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. It's so dark and cold in this well. It's cold. It hurts. 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 I get it. Shut up. What exactly do you think, sis? You won't die in the way you want to. You're just running away. Just trying to survive even after all you did all those horrible things. You'll never be forgiven. You're cursed. You're cursed. You're destined to die. Shut up, Shion. You're just a ghost, so shut up. Shut up. Sis. You lousy shit. Fuck off. It's not fair. It's not fair. You and I should always be together, even after death. So, Mion, I've come to take you with me, Mion. That's the Evanescence song. Even in death our love goes on. Pang, pang, pang. Shion banged on the door. Pam, pam, bam. Noise is too loud. It's cracking my ears and my head open. Shion's trying to break in. Shit, alright Shion, I get it. Perfect for me to die is to be cursed to death by you, isn't it? But I won't be going so easily. Ha ha. I wouldn't simply disappear. Wouldn't be fair if your beloved was left alive after all. I went out onto the balcony to avoid Shion, who was on the other side of the door. If I jumped over the railing to the neighbouring apartment, I could reach the fire escape. Eat shit, Shion. I leaned over the railing and jumped to the balcony next door. Then I rushed down the stairs, noiseless as a cat. Shion was too stupid to realise that I escaped. I can't imitate that noise, so... Wouldn't take too long to get to Keiichi's house on a motorcycle. Shion must believe I'm still in that room. She's so stupid. Soon enough, I could see the Meibara mansion. I'd never seen it before, but I'd heard a great deal about it from Shion. She told me that Keiichi's room is on the second floor. I should wake him up. Throw a stone. Ha! I threw a couple of stones at the window, and shortly thereafter the light turned on and the window opened. I saw Keiichi there. The moment I saw him, my madness cooled off for a while. Even from here I could tell that Keiichi was running down the stairs. He shut up quickly, with a doll in his hand. Felt depressed to see it. It was the doll he failed to give Shion. It isn't fair after all, Shion. So jealous, Keiichi. I want to receive a doll from Satoshi too. Mion. It's been a while. How are you? Been doing alright? Despite the burning insanity within me, I spoke to him calmly. It's true. My body is controlled by the demon now. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here this late. Are you alright hanging around this place? Really shouldn't be. Anyway, what's wrong? What do you need at this hour? Wanted to talk to you one last time. Felt horribly sleepy. Maybe it's more like fainting due to loss of blood. Sensation is proof that the insanity is swallowing me. Well, I can't stay for any longer. Are you alright? You're not feeling well? I tried so hard until now. But I can tell. I'm done. This is my limit. They're about to come up behind me to take me away. I won't get to decide how I die. Shion won't allow me to. No wonder. I dropped her down the well. It wasn't only her. None of the people I killed chose how they died. Considering that, debating how I'll die must seem a luxurious concern to the dead. You okay? Don't force yourself. Oh, that's right. I had something. Kill him, kill him, kill him. I'll avenge Satoshi's death. I'll avenge his death. This guy is Shion's beloved. I hate her. I'll kill him and teach her a lesson. Eat this shit. While gravity's pull spun around me, I realized that I'd stabbed him with a knife. I made it. I made it in time. I made it before Shion killed me. Got back at her. Take that, Shion. Keiichi rolled on the ground, clutching his stomach. I've done it. I've done it all. It's everyone I wanted to kill. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I did it. Ha, I avenged your deaths, Toshi. Don't you love me for it? Will you stroke my head? Yes, this was all a bad dream. After all, I was just in my room like always, suffering from nightmares of Shion. But where was I now? I had been standing on my apartment's fire escape alone. Could still recall that dream. Yes, I'd stepped out onto the veranda. My front door was still locked, so I had to climb through the veranda again. Whoa! My foot had slipped and then I felt a floating sensation. After that, a sharp indescribable pain ran through my head. That incredible pain finally cleared the fog away from my nightmare. I just slipped from the fire escape as I tried to return to my balcony, and fell onto the roof jutting out from the elevator hall 2 or 3 doors down. My room is on the 8th floor. I wasn't expecting to be caught up here. When I fell, my head landed on the concrete corner and I could feel both enormous pain and the warm blood dripping out. I felt strangely calm. I couldn't sense the demon, Shion's ghost or my grudge. I just felt like a baby. The nothingness brought me peace. All my memories from when I was born and named Mion, up until today, came to my mind. I recalled memories of the time I had spent with Satoshi. Tears rolled down my cheeks. Where did I go wrong? When in my life did I make the wrong choice? I do know just when and where that was, because Satoshi reminded me. I'll leave Stoko to you. Sure, I believe you return. I'll be waiting for you. I'll take care of Stoko. I'll wait for you with her. We'll be good girls. You left your precious sister to me and nobody else. I guess I didn't get the significance of what you said, but I'll be fine this time. I love you, Satoshi. Stoko, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. Shion, I'm really sorry. Could I repay everything with my death? No way, right? That's not how it should be done. I wanted Satoshi to stroke my head one more time. I wanted to hear him mumble one more time. I knew it was too much to ask, and so I had no other regrets. That brought an end to my apologies. I rolled over, sending myself falling to the ground, head first. I hoped my head would crack open, to take me to the hell I deserved. I was just a demon. I belonged in hell. Why was I born? Why did this world give birth to me? I shouldn't have been born. I wouldn't have had to suffer if I hadn't been. What was the meaning of my meaningless life? If I wasn't born, nobody would have had to suffer. Thank you for treating me kindly, even though I was still like this. Thank you for teaching me love, even though I was like this. Even though I was like this. Even though... I'm really sorry, everybody. I really am. I'm sorry. If Satoshi could give me another chance, I wouldn't make the same mistake again. Never again. Here comes the ground. Bye. I love you. Eh? I wished so many times that everything was a dream, so I wrote it down, hoping for it to become true. Dreams and cartoons are often like this. There's a huge stack of sweets. I can't possibly eat them all. I try to reach for them, but then someone wakes me up. This dream has been a tremendously long one. I must have been sleeping for more than a year. That's right. I ran away from the baseball practice. I stepped onto the street when the light was red and got hit by a motorcycle. I've been in a coma since then, but I finally woke up. When I open my eyes, I see a hospital ceiling, and Satoshi looks at me from the bedside. It's just a bit too perfect. But it's okay, right? It's okay for it to end that way, right? Thought for a second this was Satoshi's, like, this is why he disappeared. I'm sorry that I was born. Oh, me fucking too. You're not alone in that one. Breakdown. Of all persons involved with or linked to the series of deaths in Hinamazawa. Ah! No, I did it bad. I accidentally skipped the credits. That's not what I wanted to do. Alright, it's lunchtime. Hey Rena, put our desk together. My lunch has meatballs today. Sounds good. This old man will have some then. Rika, bring your desk over. I'm coming. Whoosh! Oh, unfortunately meatballs are my favourite too. I won't allow you to have any. Unfortunately, I won't let you do that either, Stoko. You have to have some veggies, so I cooked some squash for you. Oh, that's harsh, Shion. I hate squash. Don't be so picky about your food. Squash is very nutritious. You're still growing, so you need to think about things like that. As long as I live, I won't let you have an unbalanced diet. Here guys, have some. Steamed squash is delicious. Munch munch. Stoko, it's really sweet. Yeah, it's super good. The balance of flavours is perfect. Stoko, don't eat this, it's too good for you. Excuse me? I don't like your tone. Just try one. Take a bite. See? Isn't it good? Well, it isn't so bad. I also hate squash, so I feel this. Of course it isn't. I've been working hard every day to get you to overcome your dislike of squash. Okay, now that's done with, why don't you overcome your fear of eggplants, green peppers, and asparagus within the year? Eggplants and green peppers I both also hate. Asparagus is fucking delicious, it's just also expensive. Stop joking. This rate, I transferred to a school in Okonomiya. Come on. I'm in charge of your health, and Satoshi asked me to take care of you. I won't let you eat junk food either. I hate you, Shion. I hate squash. A nice idea. Staff room has been unlocked. Aha! We do have 2 more tips to read. Sorry that I'll go back and read the credits in a second. I just want to read the new tips. And the icon for Revelation is squash. Goodness. Here we go. Yes, when Mr. Kasai broke in, the room was empty and the window leading to the balcony was open. That was when she fell. She hit the elevator housing right beneath, which gave her a concussion. Then she rolled off the roof and hit the ground, killing her. The reason Mr. Kasai didn't find her even though he suspected her suicide is that she was on the elevator housing at that time, unconscious. Keiichi Maebara was stabbed at about the same time. Was Shion Sonozaki unconscious on the reef then? I doubt it. She must have snuck out the building, stabbed Keiichi, then accidentally fell when she came back. Doesn't that sound right? Would you look at the neighbouring balcony again? Oishi, you've got a call on line 3. Oh, who is it from? Sato, apparently. Says the password is Ron. Haha. Hello? Sato. You must have some good news. An informant got in contact with me and you were right after all. Thank you. I'll buy you a drink on Flower Road. What was that call about? A mahjong invitation? Bingo. Sonozaki sisters switched places. Mion is Shion and Shion is Mion. They made a mistake when they were supposed to tattoo the successor. So Mion and Shion are swapped around in this notebook. So then Satoshi and Shion... No, Mion? This is confusing. Anyway, with that, you gain a clearer understanding of their relationship. It is confusing, buddy. I've spent the entire last 2 or 3 sessions trying to work it out in my head. Are you talking about the mysterious notebook you received the other day? Didn't you say it was all mumbo-jumbo that could possibly confuse the case? Even after switching the names, it's still confusing. I don't know how much of the content I can trust. Even if this is true, Rika Fude's death seems very suspicious. It's a diary of a lunatic. Drove me nuts when I read it. You know this line on the last page about how she's sorry for being born? That makes me want to jump out the window. Even so, This is a happy diary. A happy diary? Do you know how many times Toshi's name appears in this notebook? Shion really loved him, but because she was so young, a few mistakes caused that love to be misdirected. I guess, yeah, they did. That's what happened. They fucked up. Hey, Mom, tell me, why'd you have a fight with the hag? It's bad enough that she disowned you, right? Oh, you're so noisy about everything. Well, I guess you're old enough to know. She objected when I told her I wanted to marry your father. Hey, what? I was living a very unseemly life back then. Then the man I brought home was a Yakuza, so of course she got terribly upset. She said the head of the family would choose your fiancé, and I said, screw your decisions, you fucking virago. So then we both tried to cut each other down on the spot. We unsheathed our katana in the living room and clashed and slashed and sliced. Ah, you fought the hag with a sword? Way to go, Mum. Well, I was into martial arts when I was young. Both she and I held high ranks in kendo, so yes, it was quite the show. Everyone nearby was terrified. Ah, that was fun. I see. So was that why you were disowned? That's right, I was happy for it. I married your father right away. Well, I was forced to remove my fingernails in atonement, though. See how the fingernails on my left hand look ugly? How? So that's why you and the hag have a bad relationship, huh? You know what, Shion? It's not actually true. Our relationship is actually pretty good. What? That can't be right. She has to maintain the family's reputation, so she can't treat me normally, and accordingly, I lay low at family councils. But I visit her every now and then, and we have tea together. Can't believe it. It's just between you and me, okay? She removed her fingernails in atonement a long time ago herself. Look carefully at her hand the next time you see her. What? What did she do? Beats me. I don't have a clue. Hey, you do so have one. It's all over your face. Tell me. Well, right. I don't know. I think this is the epilogue I'm after. Incorrect. Menu. No, I do want to save here, but it is epilogue 3 that I want. I don't really need to save there, to be honest. I can just skip back there. I just wanted to make the credits go slightly faster. Epilogue 1 then. Okay. Skip. Click, click. Click, 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 click. Click, 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 click. I have always wondered about this in terms of timing. I wonder if there's like Shion the person and Shion the demon, because it seems to be that Shion the demon possesses Shion's body, so I wonder if, oh, I don't know. The timing always seemed very odd to me. Because it seems like she definitely got stabbed. Maybe... sorry, it seems like Keiichi definitely got stabbed, and it seems like Mion did the stabbing. Or one of the twins did the stabbing. But it was... From Keiichi's perspective, it was in Mion's body. But then Shion, and we saw that it was like her outfit and her body and shit. Was the one that died, so... Skip, skip, skip. Come on, hurry up. Skip, 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 skip. Sorry for skipping all this dramatic stuff. but I want to get... See, because here, it's definitely Shion in her outfit and her body, but it definitely seemed from Keiichi's perspective like Mion was the one that stabbed him, so... I don't know. Right, if you teach me love, even though it's like this, even though it's like this. Sorry, I won't make the same mistake again. Yeah. Eh? I love that. Eh? It's the sound I'll make when I die. I guess that's her dream, is that the last year has not happened and she's been in a coma. That I'm sorry that I was born line. Right. Actually watching the credits this time and not accidentally skipping them. Even though they're really slow. Breakdown of all persons involved with or linked to the series of deaths in Hinamizawa. Can also enjoy this music. Tamai Hojo died by homicide blunt trauma on the village on June 20th, 1982. Satoshi Hojo, believed to have disappeared from the village on June 24th, 1982, whereabouts unknown. Jiro Tomitake, believed to have committed suicide on June 17th, 1983. Death resembles that of Rika Furude on June 22nd. Investigation ongoing. Mio Takano, death by strangulation in the mountains of Gifu Prefecture on June 19th, 1983. Corpse was found incinerated. Investigation ongoing. Oryo Sonozaki, murdered by Shion Sonozaki on June 20th, 1983. Cause of death believed to be shock induced by stun gun. Violently abused post-mortem. Head shows sign of extreme laceration. Rika Furude, believed to have been murdered by Shion Sonozaki on June 22nd, 83. Cause of death was shock due to extreme hemorrhaging caused by laceration to the throat. Death resembles that of Jiro Tomitake's on the 19th. Investigation ongoing. Kichiro Kimiyoshi, murdered by Shion Sonozaki on June 22nd. Cause of death was ligature strangulation induced by restraints. Soko Hojo, murdered by Shion Sonozaki on June 22nd, 1983. Cause of death is shock due to hemorrhage induced by multiple penetration wounds. Mion Sonozaki, murdered by Shion Sonozaki on June 22nd, 1983. Cause of death is severe trauma due to impact after falling down a trap vertical tunnel. Keiichi Maebara, stabbed by Shion Sonozaki June 30th, 1983. Victim was severely injured but is recuperating in a hospital. Reina Ryugu, last accounted for in 2004, currently resides in Shishibone City. Kurada Oishi, 2004, currently resides in Hokkaido. Kumagai, currently accounted for 2004 in Shishibone City. Irio Kyosuke, 2004, address unknown. Kasai died of liver cancer in 2002. Ichiro Maebara and Aiko Maebara currently reside in Tokyo. Daiki Tomita, last accounted for in 2004, currently resides in Shishibone City. Okamura, 2004, Tokyo. Chie resides in Tokyo. Kyoichi Kameda currently resides in Tokyo. Teipei Hojo currently resides in Tokyo. Keiichi Maebara died in Tokyo Hospital on July 3rd, 1983. Cause of death is acute heart failure. Shion Sonozaki died on June 30th, 1983. Cause of death is a severe trauma due to impact after falling from the balcony of her apartment. The suspect for serial murders, which began on June 20th, 1983, fell to her death in the balcony of her apartment, which she hastily rented to conceal her identity. Following her death, the police filed charges against her for 5 murders, which began with Oryo Sonozaki. Well, we go. Ah, skipped off all of the things. Okay. Goodness. Right. That last chapter was surprisingly short. Right. And now, for some levity on that depression, let's go to the staff room. Do you think that murder can be justified, depending on the motive? Hello, this is Meakashi 07. Thank you for playing Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 5, Meakashi. You are welcome. Although I depict many deaths in my work, I often ask myself a question. Question is there such a thing as justifiable murder? In our world, murder is prosecuted, and the degree of punishment varies depending on the motive and circumstances. Having different degrees of punishment means we're putting a value on a dead person's life. Some scenes justify murder in Higurashi. By degrading the life of the victim in those scenes, the players can sympathise with the character more easily. A good example of this is the murder of Teppei Hojo, which, I shan't incriminate myself. Let me just say I was solidly on Keiichi's side in that sense. The degree of sympathy would be different from person to person. The people who could sympathise probably felt catharsis, and the people who disagreed with the character might have felt uncomfortable. That's indicated by how opinions were polarised regarding Keiichi's actions in Higurashi. There we go. In Meakashi, there were also a number of murders. But this time, the main character, Shion, tries to earn sympathy for each one of them. None of Shion's murders in this game are justified to me because I understand the desire for revenge. The way that I feel like the thing with Uncle Hojo is that his death would have made life better for someone else, you know, whereas none of the deaths in this game make anyone's life better. There's nothing good comes out of this, really. I mean, not that it would have done, but I just had a thought, which is it's intriguing that Rena left Hinamasawa and moved to Shishibono City. Anyway, but yeah, how did you feel? How much were you able to sympathise with her? There's a difference between sympathy and empathy, and I've never been able to tell I know what the difference is, but in this sense, it's... I guess I can understand why she believed her actions were justified, because if one presumes that there isn't a demon and there isn't a curse, she was instead violently mentally ill, in which case I can't condone the actions, but I can understand that they were a result of her mental illness, one presumes. But I don't think I can sympathise with her in the sense that I'm like, I can't condone it. If you couldn't sympathise with her at all, then please rate her as a crazy murderer. If you sympathise with her at all, then please have mercy on her. If you sympathise with her almost entirely, then please have mercy on her. If you completely sympathise with her, then let us please rate both of you as crazy murderers, lol. Yeah, I'm a somewhat... What about me? Well, that's a secret. I'd like to reverse my question this time. What kind of murderer could you sympathise if you were to be killed? A murderer who doesn't care about people's lives? That'd be quite a regrettable death. It's extremely sad to be killed in denial of all your values. A murderer who begs for forgiveness and tears? That'd be quite regrettable too. They shouldn't kill you at all if they're begging your forgiveness, ha. So what kind of murderer could you sympathise? In the end, sympathy might just be a method for making the story more interesting. If you can sympathise, it's fun. All this mentioning of sympathising makes me want to, what is it, sympathy for... Oh god, I'm gonna have to look up the name of the name of them now. Phone. Free up space. Sympathy for... sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and sympathy for Lady Vengeance. I can't remember... I'm pretty certain I have seen Sympathy for Lady Vengeance. I know for a fact I've watched Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. Anyway, if you can't sympathise with her, they're just crazy. We cannot put value on human life. It's a sin to even try doing so. A murder is a murder. Nothing more than that. I just hope everybody can live happily together. How does that sound? Would you agree to that? If you wouldn't... Thank you very much for playing Higurashi When They Cry, Kai. Chapter 5, Meakashi. I could only bring out this 5th episode thanks to all your support. Higurashi will only get more intense as it approaches the finale. Nothing would make me happier than if you continued reading the chapters to come. Believe me, I sure will. The next chapter is titled Sumi Horoboshi. Really, I'm rather fortunate if you've enjoyed yourself even a little. Thank you again for playing. I hope this has brought a little colour to your life. 07th expansion, Ryukishi 07. Hey, would you believe that at the end of that, I just had like a burst of energy that came out of absolutely nowhere? Man. This was a good one. This was a really good one. I really do feel like every time I think this game can't get better, it does. And I'm into that. I really like that. I really enjoyed this one because it answers some of the questions, but it still leaves many sort of left unanswered. It's just really good. It was a good time. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's got me kind of fucked up, but like in a good way. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Really did. And I'm glad that the ending didn't take as long as I was worried it was going to, because I thought I'm going to have to keep streaming past 11 and I'm going to die. So I'm glad that we finished in just under 2 hours. Speaking of which, I am going to be streaming on Saturday. We are going to be finishing another game. We're going to be finishing Dishonored Death of the Outsider, either by finding death or perhaps, if we're very lucky, another path. I'll leave it to you to guess which one I'm going for. Then on Sunday it will be Destiny 2, where we shall be continuing the various activities that we have got planned at the moment. It's I'm sort of running out of activities, so we might just be running a whole bunch of strikes or some menagerie or stuff, but we'll work it out. Maybe I'll have another Gambit special. Then on Tuesday it will be Final Fantasy XIV, where we shall be unlocking the... I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unlock the first arc of Yorha, and then I will probably go do the ruby weapon unlocks while I wait for that to pop. And so I'm gonna do like unlock a thing, and while I wait for it to pop I'll unlock the next thing, and I'll do it that way on our shard, basically to keep running through things. There may or may not be a stream next in fact no, that's a lie. I know for a fact there won't be a stream next Wednesday, and there also definitely won't be a stream next Thursday, because I am taking next Thursday and Saturday after next off. I'm going down to London. I'm getting a tattoo on Thursday and a haircut on Saturday and seeing my family the rest of the time. It's a little bit of a mini holiday to me, the last mini holiday I get before I've got like 4 straight weeks of work, then a week to move out of this place, and then I'm in London for a week, and then I'm flying across the world, so it's very scary. But either way, take care everybody, have a wonderful evening, do look after yourself, be excellent to each other. This was a really good game. I'm loving this series a whole lot, so good time. Take care, and I shall see you guys on Saturday. I was always considering if I wanted to do the bad end, but I think I'm going to do that in my own time. Anyway, take care everybody, and see you guys on Saturday.